I'm Ralph Savelsberg from the Netherlands, also known as Mad Physicist, and I'm at Brick Fair for my 4th time, displaying my F-14 Tomcat, which is the pride and joy of my aircraft collection. And of course, I'm far too cool to care about these sort of things, but it won Best Aircraft, which I'm ridiculously happy.
Very cool. Now, what makes this an interesting plane for you?
It was the star of Top Gun to start with. Forget about Tom Cruise, this was the star. And I used to have a model kit of this very plane as a child, and I was never very good at painting and sanding and gluing, and started building Lego models basically by building Tomcats. And I've been doing that for 20 years, and this is the sort of the culmination of 20 years of improving the design, and it's pretty much brand new with all the errors that my older versions had fixed.
That's awesome.
And, it has a lot of cool features. For instance, it has a variable geometry wing. For storage on an aircraft carrier, they're swept back, but for flying rapidly, they're swept back, but for flying at slow speeds, they can be extended.
That gives it more lift.
That gives it more lift and an improved wing profile for low-speed flight. And the flaps can be extended. And this is the party piece of the Tomcat.
Very cool. Now, when you're building something like this, what do you always keep in mind? Is there something you're always running through your brain as you're designing or as you're building?
I always make a plan to get the proportions right, because I don't want to start building and then come to the conclusion that I've messed up somewhere and that it's not going to be realistic. So I have pictures. I use a 3-view drawing of a plane, and then from that work out how large various things are going to be and how they're angled. And I always keep going back to that plan. So whatever I'm building, I want to stick to the right dimensions.
Definitely, definitely. Now, you have a lot of amazing techniques here. I just see parts going in every which direction. Right. Point out a few of your favorite little bits of geometry or parts usage, whatever you feel like.
All right. One of the things that stands out about the Tomcat is that if you look at the front, the intakes are slightly canted. They're not straight. They are at a slight angle. And on my model, I managed to do that as well. They're slightly twisted. And that was that's one of the tricky bits. Another thing that I'm really happy with is the undercarriage, which, showing it to you guys is going to be tricky because, right, bits are going to fall off.
Oh, dear.
We had a similar conversation last year.
Oh, dear.
So we'll try. So here's the underside with all the weapons, and I'm going to try to retract the main gear. It's attached to a ball joint and a Mixels hinge, and I can fold it forward and then rotate it to lie flat in the wing.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And then, this is getting really tricky because I don't see what I'm doing. I can close the doors, and it's very neatly tucked away.
That's brilliant.
This took some doing, and
that's
I'm really
amazing.
happy with how that works.
That's amazing.
And, nice parts usage. I don't know. I don't really.
The whole thing.
But thank you very much.
Now, you mentioned you're from the Netherlands, and you brought this from the Netherlands.
I did.
How did you transport a build like this?
Well, in my suitcase. I take the tail off. I take the wings off. I take the missiles off, and then what I end up with is relatively narrow and long, and I can wrap that in bubble wrap and put it in a plastic bag and pack it in my suitcase with clothes surrounding it so that it doesn't move around. Because if it starts to move around in your suitcase, you'll end up with a pile of loose bricks, which is no good whatsoever.
Probably rather well suited to transporting in a plane, honestly.
There's a certain sort of there's something meta going on there. Taking a plane on a plane. Yeah, I see that.
Very cool. Wonderful build, Ralph. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. It was good to talk to you guys. Mixels hinges are wonderful. Oh, here we go. And then. Yeah.
The right combination of they're sticky enough, but they have a free range of motion.
Exactly, and in some angles there is a limit to their motion, which you can also use. So very useful piece.
Awesome.